This is Real Talk. Real Talk Radio. This is Real Talk. High Praise Ministries presents Real Talk. Real Talk. This is Real Talk. Real Talk Radio. This is Real Talk. High Praise Ministries presents Real Talk. Real Talk. Real Talk.
We have the one, the only, the powerful. Y'all ain't ready for this. Y'all ain't ready for this thing. I'm trying to figure out, see how I'm gonna do this introduction. I want to bring her in good. Brings her in good. Okay. She is debuting her EP. Is actually already out there. It is available on wherever you can download your music. And trust me, if you have not heard it, by the time this podcast is over, you gonna want to hear it. She has a golden voice, and I don't use that phrase lightly. I do mean a golden voice. She's got sass, she's got soul, she's got neo soul. She is everything. She is a wonderful, dynamic, local, powerful singer, and one of my favorites, especially because, you know, I knows her, so I can say that. She's the one and only. I gotta use her stage name, Lex the Visionary. Say hi to the folks, ma'am.
Hey. Hi, folks. Hi,
we brought her welcome. She has been on the Real Talk podcast before, but normally she's on the Real Talk podcast simply as her actual name. But today, she is here as the artist, Lex the Visionary. We're going to treat her as such. So y'all who know who she is without the visionary portion, just get used to me saying Lex the Visionary today, because that's what we're going to say. That is who she is. That's who she going to be. That's who we rolling with. Period.
That's what it is. Not this.
He just showed his age just that fast.
Listen, I'll update it something. I'll say in that order. That work? How about that? That's close enough to. It was in the last 10 years. That one was in the last 10 years. Okay.
Sure.
But we gonna treat her like the star that she is, and we are here to talk about not only her debut album, debut EP. I want to keep calling it an album, but it is an EP. It is. I know. I know the technical terms.
It wouldn't be out yet.
Well, we wait, but we'll get to that later on. Not only is she here to talk about her debut EP, Lotus. I keep wanting to put the word "the" in front of it. But we're also going to get to know her some. We as Philonda and Jesse, we know her. Not only is she a member of High Praise Ministries, but we just know her. We talk with her. We've had some time to fellowship with her and stuff like that, so we know her. And we wanted to get you the opportunity to know her like we know her, because she's a bad mamma jamma. Now that's how you show your age.
Ooh.
I was saying bad. I was like, where's this bad going?
That's the 20-year difference right there. Right there was a 20-year difference between her and I. Well, actually, not quite 20 years, but it feels like it sometimes. But anyway, so let's go ahead and get started and deal with this interview and introduce the folks to you. So, before we get into the project, right? Mm-hmm. Tell us about you. You know, like who you are, your upbringing, and what brought you to music. Like, what's Lex the Visionary's origin story?
My origin story. So I'm officially and originally from the DMV area, specifically PG County, Maryland. I was raised there, born in DC. Mm-hmm. And then, we drove back over to Maryland and grew up in Largo. But yeah, origin story. I'm so bad with broad questions, but as we go, I guess you can get more specific. So as it pertains to like music and stuff, I feel like every black child was in the choir. Every black person who started music or is in music, started in the choir somehow. And then it was Sunbeams. I was like, I want to say like 7 years old, maybe 6. Mm-hmm. At the same time, my mom put me in piano lessons at a young age at like 6 or 7. So that's like where the foundation started, sight reading, like training my ear at a young age. Mm-hmm. But having this like want to be an artist and pursue music and sing didn't happen until middle school, when I was watching Disney Channel and like all about the Disney Channel movies and the musicals and the Circle of Life. I mean, do you remember the Circle of Life music video?
Yeah.
And it was just with Taj Mowry and Raven Simone, and so good. So those like really spoke to me and got me really excited. High School Musical, Hannah Montana, and yeah, it just like breathed something into me. And then, but I was really shy, really, really, really shy. I don't think I did my first performance until I was 18 in college. In that, you know, that went how it went. I did it with the organization I was part of at the time, so they created a safe environment for me to like, you know, grow. But yeah, in college, I was tossing and turning between, okay, do I really go for this or do I not? I had an internship in college at House Studios, which is a former studio in Hyattsville, Maryland. And at the time, you know, I guess I considered him a mentor at the time. Udo Gray, I asked him, you know, just if I do music, where do you think I should go? He mentioned Atlanta. I felt like I got a lot of signs to go to Atlanta, just like leading up to that. And I felt like God was like, yes, Atlanta. So, yeah, after college, like 3 months later, I was in Atlanta. Just being like, okay, here we are. And it's been almost 7. It's been more than 6.5.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's an origin story, though. You did good with it.
Yeah, we did? Okay. I was trying to be like, let me not say, you know, because I sent a couple voice notes earlier, one to my cousin, one to somebody else. I said, you know a lot. You that.
But that's like that could be like your period or you know, that could be your thing.
That's like
But you know.
I don't want to do that. I'm going to be mindful. Okay.
So what were some of your biggest musical influences, both growing up and now?
My biggest musical influences growing up. So, I might get flack for this, but...
Catch all the smoke. Catch all the smoke.
My biggest musical influences, so, I mean... When I think influences, I think of like the things that inform your music today. And to be honest, like my biggest musical influences when I was younger, because I really started to get into music when in like 02 to 04, so I was like 8, 10 years old. I love JoJo. I love JoJo and Destiny's Child. And those were my go-tos when it came to like mimicking their voices and like listening to range and seeing what I could and could not do. Prior to that, I grew up on gospel and Motown. My mom was gospel, my dad was Motown.
You had those Saturday morning cleanups?
No.
Really?
No, I did not.
Saturday morning cleanup.
I mean, so the only time my mom would make my brothers and I like clean was when she would have guests over.
Gotcha.
That's when she would get like in her moods and I'd be like, who are you? But yeah, so that and then as I've gotten older, like I've just been really I love hip hop. I write like a rap style, even though I primarily sing. Just because I really admire wordplay. Like I love a good pen game. Like, cause I just feel like you remember that. Like you can remember a run too, and how certain R&B songs feel like. But for me personally, just if you say something crazy and like I get hyped, I'm just like, yeah, that's it. So I just always like my writing to have some sort of like cleverness to it. But yeah.
Ooh, off the top of my head,
Go for it.
what is one lyric that you will never be able to forget? Since the pen game's everything, what's the one bar that constantly lives rent-free in your head?
I have two. One is recently this year. One is from Lil Wayne.
Okay.
Of course, the real G's move silent like lasagna. That one. And then there's this girl named, I know who she is. She goes, shorty looking on my page, better watch me flow. Hit the boomerang, let us watch me slow. Hit the zoom again and let her watch me close. Not to boast, I made it in your face like a hibachi stove. And I said, excuse me? And she's like, I love dealing with a rich nigga. I love dealing with a rich nigga. If he gonna trick, then I'm a trick, but he gonna trick bigger. And then I kind of lose it. But I forgot her name.
And
you
I
know who I'm
her.
talking
I
about?
can see her face, and I can't.
New York, soft voice.
Yes.
She's just chill with it.
Oh.
She's just like, yeah. Like, she's just real cute. She don't gotta be hard.
Effortlessly.
That's hilarious.
Dang.
That's what caught me
You
with
trying
that.
to look her up though?
Yep.
Dang. I
So in
respect
that
it.
same vein, while she's looking her up, because she gonna have to find her, because now that's gonna live rent free in her head.
It is.
I would turn that on to like get hyped for like 3 months straight because she dropped that video at the end of January. So good.
What is your favorite album, and which album sparked your passion for music?
My favorite album and which sparked my passion for music. Oh man. I can't say this is my number one, but one of my favorites is wait, okay, more popping up.
That's why we asked, which is a hard question.
Sheesh. I really love A Seat at the Table by Solange. That's one of my favorites of all time, for sure. Because I think it came out end of 2016. At the time, I was just moving to Atlanta, going through some tough times where I was living. And it's just something that I listened to when I cried, honestly. I felt very connected to it. I liked the transitions. I felt like it was something you could, for the most part, listen from beginning to end. So I really love that album. I just have to say one. Okay, what was the other question? Okay, sorry.
Is which album was your favorite album, and which album sparked your passion for music?
Which album sparked my passion for
Like
music?
you heard the album, you heard the songs, like, I love that. I think I can do that.
I mean, probably Destiny's Child, number one.
That's all right. You're young, so you're allowed.
No, I mean, I get scared because I'm young, but you know, in a room full of black people my same age, they're gonna be like, "Why won't you say something from the '90s?" I'm gonna be like, "Because that's not my story. Everybody doesn't have the same black experience."
Right.
Because I would always mimic them. I would try to be over here. You know, want their curly hair, which I thought was real, but then, you know, you find out 10 years later it's a wig. So yeah, Destiny's Child for sure.
Okay. You got one? Because I got a bunch I can keep going.
Out of Destiny's Child, which one did you mimic? Like, if you got the opportunity to say my name came on, or who are you?
What song would I choose to sing?
which individual are you? Beyonce, Kelly, Michelle.
Everybody's
Beyonce.
I was never Beyonce.
What were you?
Kelly.
You were Kelly?
There was something just so hood about her. I was like, at any moment, I feel like I can relate to that. At any moment,
Yeah. Michelle would carry them bridges, though.
she would.
She was here. She was there. And she did that every time.
So, why do you choose to create? Like, what drives your purpose in creation?
What drives my purpose in creation? Oh, it's deep.
We're gonna hit you with these hard-hitting journalistic questions. This ain't a game.
I know. This will happen in the real world. They don't send you them ahead of time. Wait, say it again. What's my purpose for
What's
creating?
your purpose for creating? Yep.
I feel like it's a few different things. I feel like I create, my purpose for creating is because it feels like what I should be doing. And anytime I don't or deny it, like, it just doesn't work. I gotta sneeze. Wait a second.
Go on and say sorry. This real
It's like
talk.
it's in my left nostril.
Don't you hate that? And the fact that you recognize it's not going to come out now. It's going to
It's
sit
not.
there for a minute.
It's going away. It's like lingering. If I sneeze in the middle of
That is what it is.
one thing that I really want to do with the music that I create is I think it's very important to, not that there isn't, but to always just, as people come along in their careers and stuff, just have positive representation in women and I just feel like someone like me, how I was raised, can still be impactful. I didn't used to think that for a long time. I used to think I had to have a really hard life to be able to write certain things and be a certain way, when in actuality I just had to, of course, just come from my own experience or can be influenced by others' experiences, can write a very descriptive story that's completely left field, so I think I just want to be able to exude my experiences, my perspectives on life, and be able to do that in a way that empowers, that reassures, that drives people down their own paths, their own specific ones, because that's the most important thing, is just believing in what you have to offer, where you're going, and standing in it very firmly, which I've learned over the years. So that's number one, like whether it's through music or whatever other mediums, because I have all these art mediums that I can do. The biggest thing is to make sure that I'm empowering someone to like live in their gifts and what they have to offer.
That's amazing.
That's the biggest thing. Yeah. Oh, we got there.
I got a follow up.
Uh-huh.
It's your fault. You did it. So all the mediums that you have that you were able to do, because you're gifted in a number of areas, and I have been privileged to see some of those gifts, right?
Uh-huh.
And there's a bunch I know I don't know nothing about, but of all of the gifts that you have, what is your favorite? What's the one that you're like, this one? Like, I like all of them.
Like creatively?
Mine.
Ew. Okay. Let's see. Can write. I can play piano.
What?
That one I
I
did
can
not.
draw.
And I'm a little upset I didn't know that.
Yeah. I'm just rusty, but I can play. Write, piano, draw, photography, videography, singing, rapping, dancing. Probably the writing.
Okay.
That's where I'm most like, I feel most alive is when I'm writing a good song. Like, yeah, definitely. And maybe I'll say that for another time. Writing. There we go.
Okay.
Writing. Let's stick to that, yeah.
Got another follow up, because I'm evil with these. I like these deep probing questions. When I get in my bag, I get in my bag. What is your favorite piece that you've ever written?
And for the audience, just know that she did have songs that existed that are available on YouTube. Follow Lex the Visionary.
I mean,
That existed before the EP.
Yup.
well, yeah, and they're under Lex. They're
She
under
gotta
my
keep
old
under
Lex?
artist name.
Okay.
They're under Lex, but it's a whole thing because there's so many Lexes. If you want to hear the old stuff, you would have to type Lex and then effort. That's the only way you can find me. I'm trying to get him transferred.
Gotcha.
This year. What was the most favorite thing I've written?
Because as a writer myself, I know that there are some things that you write because you're just inspired to, and then there's some things that you write like as you're writing it. Not only is it because you're inspired, but it just really connects. The moment pen hits paper and
Yeah.
you finish, and you're like, this is a beast.
Yeah.
So whether it be poetry, whether it be musically,
Yeah.
what is your favorite piece of writing?
favorite piece of writing. I can't help but hear this thing that I haven't released, I haven't even finished in my head. Do I even remember all the lyrics?
Just give it the title. Don't give them nothing that ain't released yet. We don't do nothing for free, y'all.
I mean, but I like it though.
That just means it's gonna become. Listen, pay attention to this title because that means it's coming soon. Because it's her favorite.
But you said I can't do it.
You can give the title.
You could give
There's
a
no
little bit.
title. Like there's
Oh.
none of that.
Just,
Yeah,
just give us a few
lyrics.
lines. It'd be the on the spot parts.
Because I can't remember. Okay, we're gonna try. If I don't remember at some point, I'm gonna switch it.
Okay.
Little did I know my heart was frozen. Every icicle marks a deeper cut.
I told y'all she can sing, y'all. She sang.
I don't remember the rest of the lyrics. Sorry, guys. Let's switch it up. But I really like that one. I mean, I really like what I did with Stretch. Like how I started Stretch. Because it's so specific to me. Silence used to be my greatest virtue, but silence doesn't work when people hurt you. I feel some fire creeping up my spine, yeah. Heartburn really makes you lose your mind, yeah. Please don't test me. Was your crash dummy till you wrecked me? Now you're running up my card note, making payments on something that been broke. Tap, tap, my nails irritated. Can't believe you trying to get reinstated. You know what you did. Know what you... And I'm sick of it. Sick of it. So, yeah, I really like how I wrote that.
Love it.
Yeah.
Y'all, Stretch is on the EP, so y'all gonna need. I promise you, Stretch is a monster. It is my second favorite. We're gonna talk about my first favorite. We're gonna get that later on. But since we're on the project, let's talk about the project. Tell us where the name Lotus came from. Like, what was the inspiration for the name?
The name Lotus. I can't even remember how I decided. I remember texting it to my team, like, the project name is Lotus. I forgot how I got to that point. Well, God, but I forgot how you even got me to that point. But I just remember after it popped in my head, just looking up the different meanings of it. And, you know, the main thing that stood out was just the whole rebirth thing. Because I started riding Lotus back in 2021. And at first it wasn't supposed to be Lotus. Like, we weren't writing to make a project. It was just to work with like minds, really collaborate, flow, and just let things come out organically, have fun. And it wasn't until a year later that it was like, okay, this is going to be the project. But yeah, it just really represents a time in my life where I had to shift mentally because I was just repeating a lot of poor choices that just didn't serve me. I had issues with, you know, attracting or attaching myself to poor quality guys. And I really wasn't as vocal as I am now. I was afraid to be anything but peaceful or come off that way. I didn't like having my own feathers ruffled and being expressive and angry, and I always felt guilty for doing things other than what the good girl or nice girl is supposed to do. And it was a problem. It was like killing me on the inside. So 2021 was a big year for me because I just decided that I needed to pivot, and that required starting therapy, my therapy journey, which I've been on for over 2 years, which has been incredibly helpful. Incredibly helpful. So yeah, Lotus, it's really encapsulates my 2021 and the emotions and the phases that I had to go through to come out on the other side as not just Lex the visionary, but Lex as a woman, as a creative, as so many different sides of me that I feel like were more suppressed before because I was afraid. So, yeah.
So it sounds like it was very much so a discovery year for you.
It was discovery. It was also a lot of pain.
Yeah.
It was a lot of hurt. It was a lot of being in a hole. For sure. 2021 and 2022. We're being honest. But yeah.
So, you mentioned your team, which I love. For y'all who don't know, if you ever have a conversation with Lex the Visionary and are talking about her project, she will always talk about her team, and that's not something that you hear often. Most people, they will reference them real quick, and then let's get back to me, let's get back to the project. But she is always so giving to give shouts out to the team and include them in everything. So, since no one person can do it alone, and you're always mentioning your team, how did this collaboration of phenomenal people, and they are phenomenal, how did this come together?
Grade A plus. How did this come together? Ooh, this is good. So I got to Atlanta 2016. I had an internship within 3 months. Internship, I was 1 degree away from anyone, right? Ludacris would come through there. I was in a session with Jadena that I wasn't supposed to be in. I was confused. Just, it was like I got here, I met the right people, connected with the right people, and now I'm here, like January 2017. And I was there most of that year, and just kind of feeling the waters and seeing what it was all about. And granted, I did learn things there. That was the first time where I really started to understand just my personal just influence, like when I walk into a room, which just was mind-boggling for me, just because growing up back at home, like I was a completely different person. And this is just a note too, like sometimes you can't realize who you are and what you really are until you move away and get in different rooms, and people will sing things that you haven't and then actually tell you, which is beautiful. So that was happening. That was a positive thing that happened. I got to see some insights into different executive meetings and see how certain artists were moving and things like that. But it just didn't feel all the way good. And there was a moment where I could have chosen to, continue to go to another studio with who I was, I guess, working with at the time. He's an executive, really smart man, really, really successful. He manages a very successful songwriter. He who has probably written some, like, most hits, he's eating money, bread. But it was one of those things where I felt like I had to compromise what I really wanted, because he wanted me to manage the next studio that he was going to go to, and I wanted to be an artist, and I could tell that at the time, like, that's not something that he wanted for me too. So that was at the end of 2017, and he gave me a choice, and I said, actually, I'm going to decide to leave, and I'm going to find my way. I'm going to build my own castle. That's what I remember him saying, like that he was building a castle. I thought to myself, I got to build my own castle. So life. Fast forward to 2020. Fast forward to 2020. I was in a Starbucks on 14th Street in Midtown, and when I walked in and sat down, I saw someone like to the right of me, in front of me, who looked familiar, and I was like, where do I know him from? And I was like, do I know him from UMD? So UMD, University of Maryland, College Park. That's where I graduated. Go Terps. Fear the Turtle. Woohoo. And he looked familiar. So before I left, I got up and I said, hey, did you go to UMD? And he said, yeah, this was Chris Lane. And he said, yeah, I did. And so we chopped it up a little bit. And then he was telling me that he had been in Atlanta for, I think, a year or so at that point. I had been there for at least at least 3 and some change. And he said he had, he was into sound design, had a company, and, you know, worked with an artist. And I was like, cool. So we exchanged, you know, information, talked a little bit, and, you know, fast forward to a couple months later, he asked if I wanted to help him co-write a song for a play that he was sound designing. And I said, yeah, what are you talking about? So I went over to his place. We wrote, that was my first session with Chris, and it was really good, really got along. I think we had 2 sessions, and that's when, you know, COVID happened and things got shut down. So that was put on pause. Still kept in touch, though, in between, here and there. A year later, I was in a position where I was looking for beats because I wanted to write again. I wasn't sure if I was trying to create a project specifically or just wanted to, like, build my catalog. But I hit up some producer friends that I knew mainly from the DMV, and I said, hey, do you have anything you can send me? Da-da-da-da-da. And when I hit up Chris, he was the only one to really be like, you know, well, what's your vision as an artist? To really pose that question to me, which got my attention because nobody had really cared about my vision as an artist. And it's something that I really had to think about. And he was like, you know, if you want to take this seriously, and of course this is not verbatim, but this was the whole mood and the conversation of what we had. You know, I definitely love you for you to meet Atelomidis and you know, see if we can actually like work together to help you build yourself as an artist. And I was like, hell yeah. So we had a mapping meeting that was in March 2021. And, you know, all 3 of us were just talking. We realized just how we were all aligned and like what we wanted to accomplish as creative minds and things like that. And so then we started writing and everything. I think like a month or 2 later. But yeah, that's essentially how it happened. Like I recognized someone from back home who I didn't know in college at all. I don't remember talking to him once in college. I think I just saw him in passing. And then, you know, once we both graduated years later,
here you are.
I see him. We're the same. And I do notice too, like, no matter what happens, I always make the best stuff with people back home. I really do. Like, there's something undeniable about working with someone who, Chris is not from the DMV per se. He's from Baltimore, but still Maryland. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and then Chris connected me to Atelomidis, who co-producer, co-writer, also artist himself, and then, you know, other people on their team. So the whole team, his whole company is called Multiband Studios, and they specialize in theater sound design.
Nice.
They also have lighting and things like that. And so a lot of talented, essentially entrepreneurial collective of people. So he has a big vision for it to expand, but I met him at Atelomidis, and then JT is an amazing pianist, also up and coming actor, and you know, it's through them that I was connected to more.
Okay.
So that's my team. I love them. We work great. I would not change anything we went through. I would, well, maybe some things, but I'd be lying. But yeah.
So, you have one?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Okay. Multitasking myself here. Eric says hi.
Oh, hey, Eric. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Eric is one of our new consistent viewers. He is.
Hi, Eric.
I love him. He's good people. We're going to get him on next because he has a very, very interesting perspective of life and the things that he has lived. It's wonderful. So, Eric, I promise you, the next episode, which is in 2 weeks, you up. We got you.
You up next, Eric?
I really don't want to ask this question yet because it means we're coming down to close near the end of my questions for this interview. But okay, so because I'm loving the energy and I'm loving finding out stuff I didn't know about you. Like,
really?
For real? I'm like, because we talk a lot and have talked, but I feel like you told me a lot. I'm like, how did I know? This never come up. What?
I like to be a mystery. Just a little bit.
So let's get into what has been in the private virtual listening parties that you had.
Oh yeah.
The consistent number one fandom song is what I'm calling the soon-to-be summer anthem. I wanted to call it something else, but I was told we're not calling it that right now. So we're gonna call it the soon-to-be summer anthem, and we're gonna play it for y'all. Y'all gonna hear it in a little bit. Friends, Frands. Okay. How'd you come up with it? Why is it spelled that way?
Why is it spelled that way?
Like, I know you talked about it then, but most of our listeners didn't hear it, so...
Yeah.
Frands?
Yeah.
You know.
What was the first question? How did I write it?
How'd you come up with
Okay.
it? What was
What inspired
process?
it?
Yeah.
Play by play. Friends. Friends was inspired by a bad experience and longing to have an inner circle in Atlanta. I'm definitely someone who has gotten to know a lot of people here over the years, and just even before moving to Atlanta, I'm very much so like a can adapt to different groups type of person. So but I realized, I guess in year 5, that's when we were writing and everything, like I still hadn't had that core group of friends in Atlanta. And social media, you watch it, you see people from college, like big groups of like 8 to 10 still doing stuff together, going on trips and even small stuff. And I was just like, dang, I really want that. But I've also just never really been that type of person. I'm more so like I have like a one-on-one, not a huge group. Let's not digress. But I was just longing for that here. And specifically too, because the whole vibe itself is very fun, it's very upbeat, very vacation, very summer, hence summer anthem. And that year I went on my first trip to Miami with someone. At the time it was a former coworker of mine. I'm not very spontaneous. And I decided, you know what? She wants me to go. I want to go to Miami. This should be fun. We have some fun stuff planned, or she does. So I said, yeah, I'm going to go. It was just a day trip.
Right.
And I had only known her for a few months. And it was just not a fun time.
Gotcha.
It just wasn't. The stuff that we did, the activities, went to, the Versace mansion and this beach, and it was beautiful, but our personalities did not click.
Gotcha.
And I didn't enjoy myself at the end of it. I think even during it, like, there was like an unnecessary argument that happened. But so I was like, damn, like I went to Miami for the first time and I didn't enjoy it.
Look, it does matter who you travel with.
It matters so much. I spent all
Everybody
this
can't
money,
go with you,
bro. Like,
right?
so it was too like dang, like I can't even like grab someone to go on special trips with, So Friends was birthed from longing to have that. So it was kind of claiming what I wanted before it actually happened. I would say now I can say that I have a good, and this includes my team too. I think I have my 5, and even more than that, to be honest. But we're all not like in the same group. But
Right.
I feel like there are people I can call, like for sure, for tough times, to be picked up from the airport, to go out for a drink. And I didn't have that just, I feel like 2-3 years ago. So that's how it was birthed. Why it's spelled that way. So when I think about the people in my life and just their impact on me and how grateful I am, I just get excited. And then I get excited and I'm smiling and I say, that's my friends. So that's how I say it. That's just how I say it. People don't have to say it like that, but I just thought that was very specific to how, when I'm in that space of gratitude, like how I say it when I'm excited. So that's
So
why
it
it's
kind of
spelled
comes from
with
a
A.
place of joy.
Yeah, for sure. 1,000%.
I love that.
Yeah.
I got to backtrack because when you were talking, I realized I didn't ask a question that I wanted to ask. And I'm like, how did I not ask that? But I feel like it fits perfectly here too. So, before I get to my song, Um, if you could describe your sound,
Oh, I hate this question.
how would you? I'm not going to ask you to compare it to someone else because that's, to me, I feel like that's the normal artist type question. I feel like it's does an artist no good to compare themselves to someone else who's further along than where they are.
Mm-hmm.
But how would you describe your sound? If someone were to say, okay, tell me the sound of Lex Division, where does she fit in, even if you have to take chunks from different places, how would I describe your sound?
I would say my sound is very bold. I would say it's dynamic and has range. I would say, and I'm just talking specifically about this project because if you listen to my stuff before this project, under Lex, make sure you type effort after Lex effort. It sounds completely different. Mm-hmm. So I would say with this in particular, it's bold, it's dynamic, showing my range. It's cinematic. Very cinematic.
Yeah.
The sound design that my team did is impeccable. That's a constant. Out of a lot of positive feedback, that's a constant thing which I love. And it's very emotional. It's very emotional, and I don't just say that from a place of sadness or something sentimental, because I think, at least that's what I think about first when I think emotional, personally.
Mm-hmm.
But joy is an emotion.
Right, exactly. So it's, and I guess this is where the range comes in, like not just the range and that I am thankful to have with my voice, but just from anger to regret to sadness to joy. So I just, it's very authentic. It's very authentic in anything that I make. I enjoy myself, which has to be it every time. So did that answer the question?
You did. You
Yeah.
did.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Good.
So we're not going to end the segment without talking about my favorite track. Listen, I promise you. So listen, when you get this EP, like, first of all, listen to it in order because it is a story.
It's a story. It's a great
It
story.
absolutely is. And I learned that being in the virtual listening party. It's absolutely a story. But the close of the story is my favorite track called Last Time.
The last time. See, that's where you want to put the
That's where the thug goes.
That's where the thug goes. The Last Time is, oh my God, it is this epic amalgamation, I love that word, of just journey and reflection and empowerment and push forward. It is so much of everything, right? Where did all this come from?
Where'd the last time come from?
Yes. What was the inspiration for? Where did it come from? Because that's a, it is, oh my God.
Like,
It is-
realistically, it's nothing I have ever heard
Yes.
before. And
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
it
Nothing you've
is.
ever heard before.
It's nothing I ever heard before. And for me,
Wow.
I'm a lyricist. Like, lyrics matter to me. When I hear a song, like, I visualize it in my head, and that's when I know that song is, that it has a meaning. Like, I can't do the whole mumble rap thing. I could twerk to it, and that's about it.
Right.
But-
We could twerk. Teach me. I have a different approach. It still works for me. But this is a real thing. Know your strengths.
Right.
Live in them. Okay.
I came from the back everything up era. Yep. But like, so for me, like when I heard that, like it literally, like in my mind, I could see me, and I
wow.
could see younger me, and hugging my younger self. Like
Wow.
I was listening to it yesterday.
Get ready to come out.
No, I'm trying to stop it. I was listening to it yesterday, and I was like big me looking at little me. Like for everybody who knows me, like if you knew me in elementary school, like I was synonymous with my 2 ponytails.
Yeah.
Little chunky girl with big glasses and 2 ponytails.
Yeah.
And me like letting her know like this is temporary.
Wow.
Like for everything that you don't like about you now, this will serve you later. Like, so I just as one of your on this side as one of your fans of that song, I
Yeah.
so appreciate it.
Wow.
It is.
That's so good.
Like the first time I heard it, I was one of the privileged ones to be able to hear it before all of y'all got to hear it. I got the sneak peek only because I got to help produce the behind the scenes stuff.
Right.
And I heard it and I was like, oh my God, this is like we were doing the friends and family listening party,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
And you couldn't see me because my back was to you, which is wonderful. It was dark in the room. But I was literally fighting back tears.
Really?
Because it hits like that. Because that song is me. It is a me type of sentiment. It is a me type of thought. It has my ear for the way it's stylistically done. I'm like, God, dog. And when you got to the part where you just start talking, and you're talking to yourself, and who's the young lady who does the younger version?
Oh, Zaya Darden.
Shout out to you, because she did a phenomenal job too. The way y'all and I pay attention to details. So I'm hearing the scribble of the pen,
Yep.
and I'm like, she's not just talking to her; she's writing a letter to her. Oh my God! And it messed me up. And much like you, I could see my younger self,
Wow.
but because how my vision works, I didn't just see my younger self talking to my younger self. I saw me having a conversation with my older self and asking questions like, is it going to get better from here though? I know I'm telling this point it's going to get better,
wow.
but from where I'm at, does it work? And just hearing that, hang in there, it's going to be. I was like, God, dog, this song was ridiculous. Like you did your thing with that. Oh my God. I promise you. I could talk. I could literally. I'm not gonna do it. But I could literally talk about that song all day.
Yeah.
Whenever I have referenced you to people, I talk about that song first. It encapsulates the range that you were talking about. It because it's not just for. You just got to hear it.
I mean, you can play a clip too.
No, I ain't.
No.
Because you can't. That's not a song you can just play a little bit of. You got to play the whole
Yeah, you got to
thing.
experience it from beginning to
Yeah.
end. That's true.
Get to EP.
That's
true.
definitely
You
one of those
understand what I'm
songs
talking
where
about.
you like need to put your headphones on so you can like the sound. Shout out to your engineers.
Yes.
The sound of it just envelops you. It's a moment.
So let me, and I'll speak
Darken
on
the
that
room,
too.
Light some candles.
I'll
Get
speak
you a
on that
little.
too. That's
if you're a
good.
drinker, get you a glass of wine or something. Yeah, it's gonna take you through. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Okay. How did it come to be? So, what was happening? The last time was written last year in 2022. It was, I feel like it was a little bit before I told the team, hey, we got to put out our project versus what I was going to do before. Atello Midas.
Shout out, sir.
We love him. He was the one who, I can't remember what he said entirely, but I think he felt like we needed to make one more song to kind of round it out because it's like what happens after Friends. And so he was the one who took it, and I think he started playing around with some words or something. But he spearheaded it, and I'm trying to think because it's so hard for me to fully remember. But I'll do it the best that I can. It was the longest one to write too. It was the hardest one to write because, like how y'all can connect with different parts of yourself now and then, which is beautiful. I like how you guys can put yourself into it, which I think is really powerful. I was dealing with myself to write that, which is I think why it took so long. And also there was a different concept that I had before as well. So after we had pretty much finished writing all the songs and stuff before we get into mixing and mastering them, I just kind of felt like there wasn't enough tying them all together. And at first I was like, hey, because I guess the reason that this really came to be to this point was, you know, me going to therapy being a major factor. I was like, let me kind of have a therapist in this throughout the entirety of the project. That's what was going to happen before. And I forgot and I think it was going to be a therapist and my younger self the whole time. And so I wrote parts for both, either in between songs or like woven within some of the songs. And I sent it out to a couple people whose voices I felt like could fit. But because they're not actors, this is a lesson. And shout out to them if they're listening. Like, I love y'all. Y'all know who y'all are. And I appreciate you taking the time. But it didn't quite, they weren't able to deliver in the way that I heard in my head. And I also just like things happen, like there's certain schedules got all, you know what I'm saying? So I said, this is starting to feel forced and I don't want that. Like, it's not working. So let me change it. So that's when, like, for instance, in Uncaged, at the end of Uncaged, which is the first track, add the laughing and the skit there. For Stretch, during the second half, I go through saying needed validation, accepted bad attention. That was like a little bit. So like there were little like nuggets to connect everything together. And then just the last time, I really had to go to a very like deep place to write what I wrote for me and Zaya, because even though I wouldn't say my life was hard, like I dealt with a lot of feelings of feeling excluded and outcasted, and like I couldn't connect with other people, hence why I'm such a group hopper. Like I adapt because I'm good at it, and then I also adapt because of trauma. So I remember I was in my bedroom one night and I just couldn't stop thinking about this specific moment. I was on a Girl Scout trip. I hated Girl Scouts. Like, looking back, like, that was just I was in it for too long. And, you know, during that time, like, I just let a lot of just rude things happen to me, like adults doing like rude things. And one of the Girl Scout leaders, I remember, and this is kid stuff, but this really impacted me at that age. We made s'mores, and I had a s'more, and then somehow I was able to get another s'more. And then she saw that I got two instead of just one, and she said, "You can't have another one." But then she took it, and then she ate it in front of my face.
Wow.
In front of my face.
The audacity.
And I was hurt. I was so hurt. I was like, but it's just like, I just dealt with a lot of situations, like small things of just adults just wrongfully, like, just doing like some like little like shady shit. And it just really like built up over time, and it made me afraid to kind of really do anything wrong or that wasn't right. I was just always like overthinking. And just going back to that night in my bedroom, I just remember envisioning myself, like my current self, going back to that moment, because it was a sad moment for me, like through a portal. And going back to that camping trip and finding me, like, and talking to me, like, in the woods. And I really wish I could convey just what that whole night in my room was, because a lot happened to the point where it helped me to connecting with my younger self and comforting her in the way that I did, like mentally and visually, helped me to actually be able to connect with having like a daughter in the future, which I've always wanted but could never like
visualize.
Like, yeah, I always told myself I'm gonna have a son. I know his name. I feel like I can feel him in my belly if I could have the moment, you know. But I always said I feel like after this, like I can have a daughter and actually, it's gonna sound bad, but like actually like really love her, you know? So that was a lot. I was crying. It was very emotional. I was by myself in my room. And then that's what helped to write The Last Time and all the elements that came together with that. Zaya is someone who's like a niece to me in a way. Her family has given to me in the past in such a powerful way when I was down and out. And so it was nice to be able to call on them and call on her and her enjoy it and hear it back, and for her to deliver in the way that she did. It was very easy. That's how I knew. I was like, oh yeah, this is the one. And yeah, the pages, that was something I added at the last minute because I wanted to make sure y'all knew what was happening, to connect it all. So yeah, I feel like that was a little long-winded, but
No, it was good. I promise you, it was good. I can see all of that
yeah.
as you were talking about. I could see it, and because I know the song, I'm like, I can feel. It gives you even a deeper connection with it. I can feel it. Like y'all, listen to this song. I ain't gonna play it, but go to Spotify, Amazon,
Wherever you hear
Apple,
listening
Tidal.
music at.
Tidal, get Lotus, and I promise you, go in order. But when you get to The Last Time, you
gonna hit you.
understand what I'm talking about. You're gonna need a moment afterwards.
I also forgot to mention, The Last Time was actually mixed differently than all the other ones too. It was mixed manually, like analog. So
That's the difference.
that's why that's the difference.
It has a different feel.
For sure. And yeah, it just took so long to write. I think I rewrote it like 3 or 4 times, and that was even after scrapping the first idea. So it took a long time.
I promise you.
Look, some of the best things come from a long time, even
Man.
though like you know, and I know Ashley not listening right now, but you know, 41 weeks and 36 hours of labor, like look, some of the best things come out, like the birthing process.
It takes time.
It takes time. She was like, "Mom, stop."
I have a baby now.
Right.
So
Not looking forward to that.
here's my last question before we play Friends for y'all. I know that I was debating on which one I was going to ask. I was going to ask about, you know, if you've taken a moment to breathe and things like that since the release. But I'm not going to ask that because I know the answer to that. And I'm not going to make you give the answer to that. So I'll say it this way. Being that your name is Lex the Visionary, that says to me you're a forward-thinking person, right? So where does Lex the Visionary go from here? Like, what is your goal, not only for this project, but for yourself as an artist?
My goal for this project is to, I feel like any artist, just get it into as many ears as humanly possible. This is definitely the first time I've been intentional about having a marketing strategy, having, you know, a budget, what I have right now as an independent artist to consistently use to promote it. So it's just about getting the numbers up, you know, to make an EPK, to then pitch to perform and actually tour. So like there are definitely different markers that we're looking to hit overall, to actually put me in a position where the artistry is feeding me. So yeah, I just want as many people to hear it and be impacted by it as possible, and then to just pair it with amazing visuals in due time. I have ideas for that too. So, and I think just overall for me as an artist, what is my goal for me as an artist? I just want to be able to do this, and I always say this, just as freely and without limitation as I can. Like, that's always the goal. Because the minute it starts feeling like work, or the minute it starts... Sorry, I got to burp, y'all. It's watermelon. Excuse me. The minute... I just wanna do selfishly, like, be able to do it how I want to do it when I want to do it, and I want to be happy with whatever I put out, and I want to be known for just bringing something, I guess, too, like, new to the table, or like opening a door for different sounds. Some of my influences today are people who broke down certain doors, like Tyler the Creator and Childish Gambino and Kid Cudi, like people who really took lanes and they made certain things cool that weren't, to bring up the next generation of artists. So I feel like I can be that for what I put out, and that's what I'm really excited to be able to do while keeping my sanity.
Keeping your sanity is absolutely
Staying grounded along the way. But I think that's the ultimate goal, aside from the freedom to do it and how I want to do it and with who I want to do it. Just opening that door, being a trailblazer, for sure.
all right.
I most definitely can see that. Like, as an artist, I think we are as consumers, we're in an era that we are done with the cookie cutter. Like, we don't need nobody else's backstory to be a stripper. We don't. No offense to everybody who it is. No, because, like, don't get me wrong. I love Cardi. I love women of color and expressing their joy. But we don't need more of that. We need people to be diverse and authentically them. And at some point, we have to break the mold of it. And I definitely see you in the category of the her and the SZA, and like, don't, like, just being authentically who you are. Like, don't be who you think we want. Be you, and let us appreciate that.
Right.
Yeah, like, even like one of my favorite artists who's like that is Lauryn Hill. Like, I know she is in her old age flaky, but
She's a big influence too.
yeah, but like, be authentically. We don't need you to be anybody else. We just want to appreciate you, and you to have the space and opportunity to just flow and be you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I speak that into your future.
I receive that. That's the goal. I can't believe I didn't say the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Too late now.
That's in my top 5. Just so y'all know. Dang, bro. Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. We did at this table. I don't care who says what, but Justin Bieber's Changes album was great. Kendrick's second album, To Pimp a Butterfly, love that album. I forgot my 5th. Come back later, maybe.
The 5th is Lotus. That's your
Lotus.
I promise you, listen. Once again, these tracks, they gon'. You know how if you know how to have an ear for music and how to have an ear for a great singer, you will love this EP. I'm gonna say it's simple. Go ahead and play Friends. You're a new school, old school throwback.
A new school, old school throwback? What does that mean?
So you bring a new school style. So you're young, you're modern, you do those things, right? But when I hear your voice, I'm taken back to when real singers sang.
Interesting.
Like, you have an ability, and hearing the EP, you'll really understand what I'm talking about for y'all who ain't heard it yet. Like, you can do the synthesize and that stuff and all the bells and whistles that the artists now have. But I could also see you sitting down by a piano and just doing MTV Unplugged. For y'all who know what MTV Unplugged,
The Lauryn Hill Unplugged.
Yeah.
Like, that was I miss MTV Unplugged because that separated the artists from
that aired some people out.
Yeah.
Some folk we found out.
Aaliyah, I was heartbroken.
We had a conversation about Aaliyah not too long ago where I was like, you know what I'm starting to understand? Aaliyah really wasn't all that good. It was everything around her. And we hold Aaliyah in high esteem because she's dead now.
Yeah.
Like, rest in peace, Aaliyah, and all that other stuff that people like to say.
Like, for her time, she was great for. But I was like
She
that.
wasn't right for her time. She really wasn't. She was. She just. It was the stuff around her. Like, go back and listen to her stuff and watch. It's not the. Don't listen to the album stuff.
Listen,
Like, go watch the.
go live that live MTV Unplugged. I was like, ooh.
Like, there's a
That was
difference
raw.
when you let your background singer shine. Like, people give Alicia Keys some crap because what was one of her background singers out-sang her. But I'm like, she really gave them the platform to do so. She pulled
Right.
back on her voice,
Like Mariah
so they
Carey
could
with
shine.
Kelly Price.
Yeah, Aaliyah wasn't doing that. Aaliyah's singers she was giving her everything, and it was like, ooh. Maybe you shouldn't be the artist right now. Like, she had the package,
Right.
but didn't have everything else to go along with the package. You had all of it. You can do all the things, and then strip all of it away and say, "Just hear my voice." Now what?
I received that, and it's like, to be honest, I feel like the only song where you can really hear my singing voice is The Last Time. And even then, I'll be honest with you, like, this is another thing. I wanted to re-record the entire Last Time.
Is that because you're your own worst critic, though?
She's a perfectionist.
Because it was, yeah, and they told me no. I'm glad. See, this is why you need people in your life to tell you no. Because I'm glad that it didn't happen, because it probably wouldn't have felt the same. But it's interesting, like, and you hear me sing, like, outside of my EP too. So it's like, I feel like I have yet to actually showcase, like, what my voice can really do. And so I guess I see myself, like, wanting people to really know that I can sing as well. But then also I have to remind myself, well, Lex, this is the era that you're in with what you want to do. You like what you put out. Like, don't worry about whether you can sing or not, because you can. It's just not the time to make stuff, or you have to feel it, you know? And I mean, you know, with the lead, it's not just about your talent, like your voice anymore anyway.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not.
It's a lot
but
of things.
I feel like
It's a lot of factors.
I really feel like you are one of the people who will bring that back. Like, yeah, have all the stuff, but as opposed to the stuff being the forefront and being the thing, it's gonna be the talent. So I liken it to kind of the arc of what I know of hip hop, right? Hip hop at its origin was all about the DJs and how good the DJs were, and the MCs were kind of just there, just hyping the DJ up. Then there came a point where the MC came to the forefront because of how talented they were and their pen game, and the DJ and the producers, they were the background. Let's get something to accentuate your voice. And lyricism became a thing, and how you present and all that.
Yeah.
And now we've gotten to a place where, hey, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna hit a hard beat, and everybody's gonna love my stuff because the beat is hard. Back to the DJs, but you're not doing anything. And with AI, it's gonna get worse than that. But
AI.
you are a throwback where you can exist in any era. You can exist in the Motown era. You can exist in the 90s. You can exist in now and be able to say, hey, listen, yeah, this is great, but watch this. Cut the music and I'm still singing, and it still be dope. And y'all will follow me wherever I go.
That is a compliment.
That's something that don't happen no more. Like, I don't know how y'all young folk buy concert tickets. I swear I don't. Because I would go
Ooh,
to
especially
concert
for
and
the
be
prices.
mad.
I'm like, look, I'm gonna need some of my money back. Like, seriously. But no, I think musically we are coming to an era where we are getting to a place where it is we can't take. Don't get me wrong, I love the new version of Little Mermaid, but I also appreciate the fact that they didn't stick with the original.
Yes.
They didn't remake a cartoon. They gave it more depth, more feeling. They gave more tension. They gave a little more leaning into the emotion of the love and passion and desire. For as much you could do, you know, keep it PG-13.
Right, for sure.
Right. You know.
PG-13?
What?
It's PG.
I feel like it was PG.
It was just PG. Okay. Well, so yeah, for as much you could do, like, but we don't need remakes anymore. We need to some of the newer artists that I'm starting to discover, like Alex Vaughn.
Oh yeah, DMV artist.
Yes, amazing. I need her. Go ahead, have a little tummy, girl.
She
Go
got you,
ahead,
yeah.
get it. You.
What did she say? Well, no. What was the lyric?
Oh God, I can't think of the lyrics
Dang,
now.
right?
I hate that.
Who's the girl from earlier? Did we ever find her?
She's
Yes,
looking.
Lady London.
Lady London.
Yes. Yeah, people like her, people like Wei Anye.
Stop hallucinating on some lame ass niggas.
Yes.
That's that girl. That's the line.
Like those kind of artists.
What's the good song?
Yeah, you good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we
How
cuss.
was it?
But yeah, like people being them authentic self and whatever your expression is. Like people, here's one of the things, and I gave him crap for it too. I admit it. Like I don't need Drake to be gangster. You came from a good household. You came from privilege. You started acting.
Parents had a real good marriage.
Right, own it. Like I don't need you to be like, yeah, because I'm so. Don't do that, Drake. Be okay with who you are. Be like Pharrell. Be nerdy.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Be out of the box. Be different. Like we need that. We no longer need this. We don't need machines and factory stuff anymore. We need people to
That's
show.
special.
Right. We need people to show other people that real people still exist.
So on that note, and Erico, feel free to ask your question even while the song is playing. I'll make sure to get it up. Eric, first of all, Eric is getting ready to become a fan. He said he's got to check out your music.
Yeah.
So
Please,
that's
and let me
gonna
know.
work. He got it in. He said, "We're okay." Pop it up here and read at the same time. Where do you think K-pop future is and the impact it has on Western culture? I like mixing different genres, like Old Town Country Road, mixing different genres. What are your thoughts? Since you're the artist, like
To be honest with you, I don't listen to K-pop.
me either. That's why I couldn't answer that question.
I can't
Like,
answer it. Eric, I'm sorry. I don't have any thoughts on it.
I mean, so like I'm not totally diverse with K-pop, but I have an eclectic ear. So I think at this point they have reminiscence of like Motown Philly, like Boys to Men. So they're diverging and bringing back to our remembrance with stuff that actually came from us. So I've yet to see any of the mainstream artists use their influence, but I think they definitely have a place. And I think that as far as music goes, we need more of that. We don't need every person of every color to be a rapper. You don't need
I miss R&B.
Right, you don't need a every color Meg Thee Stallion. You don't need a every color, Offset and Migos. We don't need a every race. We just need people to be you. So I
Right.
appreciate K-pop because it is their culture, their music, and we get a look into it. So I definitely see, like, especially as far as the billions of dollars that they are making.
And making bank.
Right, like everything. I need us to. As much as I'm a huge hip hop fan, I go way back. I can remember the first time hearing it. I was like, "This is for me." But I don't need everything to be hip hop. I think we have diluted it in its commercialism. So I'm open to other different genres of music. If K-pop has some influence, do that. Like, but we don't need to be one faceted. I think we need to be multifaceted as cultures and different music. So I appreciate them. Now, have I bought any of it? Absolutely not. But let me be honest with you, I ain't bought like a lot. I stream. I ain't bought a whole bunch of stuff lately.
We're old. They don't buy.
Right. Like, I ain't bought nothing since CDs went out.
Right.
No, I take that back. I downloaded and I purchased. The last album I bought was Rihanna's Anarchy. That was the last thing I actually paid for. But
I got you.
And so on that note, and without further ado, we built up the anticipation enough. And listen, it is right now, since most people think that summer has starts after Memorial Day weekend, it is the summer bop. I promise you, you're gonna hear this. You're gonna know this is a summertime anthem. You're gonna be able to take your friends out.
Look, it's Pride Month. If I don't see no videos
Wow.
playing this, I better see some TikToks. I better see, like, because this is when you get to just be authentically you with your friends. Like,
Your friends.
I'm sorry, your friends.
You gotta say it like that.
I got to say it how it's
See,
pronounced.
I think it's crazy. Like, people are starting to say it like that. I'm like, that was the part.
That's part of the pool, though. Because
It
it's a
is.
different way to say it. It's a different way to look at it. And when it is said, everyone who knows, like, you must have heard Lexa's song. That's how it works. So, yeah, no, embrace that. So, without further ado, this is Friends.
This is Real Talk. Real Talk Radio. This is Real Talk. High Praise Ministries presents Real Talk. Real Talk. This is Real Talk. Real Talk Radio. This is Real Talk. High Praise Ministries presents Real Talk. Real Talk. Real Talk.